Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope your day and your week are going well so far. Got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes a new opportunity to go ahead and make some money. I have 4 picks to go ahead and share with you guys in today's MLB slate. We had a 1-2 night last night. Not very good. Not the worst we've ever seen. But again, we're kind of cooling off a little bit here. Let's see if we can't heat back up. We had a really good 3-week stretch. The last week or so hasn't been bad, but it hasn't been good. The last 2 videos in particular, we've fallen a little bit flat, but no worries, guys. I feel like we're ready to get back on the horse, get back to winning, and that starts tonight. 4 picks coming right at you, guys. No time to waste. Let's dive right in. We are jumping right into the Outlier screen, guys. Shout out to Outlier, the best sports betting tool on the market. If you want to go ahead and make money in the sports betting landscape, guys, you got to have the proper tool by your side to do it. Outlier is the best tool that money can buy. And the best part is, with our special offer down below, when you use the link in the description, you get a 7-day free trial to check it out for yourself. All the data you see in all my MLB Player Prop videos, including today's video, is available to you guys. That's right. All you got to do is use the link down below. You get a 7-day free trial. And then after that, guys, it's $19.99 a month. It's really not that bad, and realistically, if you're making smart sports betting choices, which you will be when you use Outlier, it should, in theory, pay for itself. So don't miss out on that offer, guys. It's free money we're basically giving you guys. 7-day free trial. Check it out for yourself. Special thank you to Outlier for sponsoring today's video. All right, guys, our first of 4 picks. Actually, we have 2 picks coming from this Dodgers-Marlins game, 4:40 p.m. first pitch. I understand there are going to be a lot of probably negative comments that this is late. I know the video is late. I apologize, guys. Stuff with the pizza place with my grandmother, everything going on lately. It's been really tough, so I'm trying my best to at least get the videos out. I know it's a little late in the day, so if you can't get these in, try your best to get these in. I will also have some other picks after, a little later in the day, but these first 2 picks are coming from this Dodgers-Marlins game, 4:40 p.m. first pitch. And our first pick is a plus money play. We have Otto Lopez here, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, plus 105 on DraftKings, plus 105 BetMGM, also available plus 100 on Prize Picks, and minus 102 on Underdog. And for plus money, this prop's got pretty solid data. You see Otto Lopez, 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, including last night versus the Dodgers. Actually, the first 2 games in this series versus the Dodgers, he's cashed the over here. We had his over in strikeouts last night. He did not strike out last night. He did actually have a really good game, 2 runs, 2 hits, and 2 RBIs, and what was an 8-4 loss for the Marlins. But overall, the data is pretty solid. Even the last 20 games, you see a 65% hit rate here for Otto Lopez. 13 of his last 20 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs per game. So far in 2024, a 48% hit rate on the over, which isn't great. But again, the recent data seems to be really strong here for Otto Lopez, and he is averaging 1.69 hits, runs, RBIs per game this season. Then the head-to-head data, again, just the last 3 matchups. All this season, though, and the last 2 games being the first 2 games of this series, he has cashed the over. Taking a look at the insights provided by Outlier, Otto Lopez exceeded 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in 10 of his last 12 games. 3.2 hits, runs, RBIs per game average over those last 12 games. So really good numbers there for Otto Lopez. Look at the key matchup stats down below. Lopez is batting .262 overall this year, but versus right-handed pitchers, he does increase his numbers to .277. Now, the reason I think this prop is a plus money play, now, number 1, obviously coming off a really big game, it could be a spot to fade him. But number 2 is, although you do see a lot of green here, Jack Flaherty is having a really solid year with the Dodgers. Like I said, you see a lot of green. All of his numbers actually do increase when facing off versus right-handed batters this season, but even at those increased numbers, the data is not terrible. He has a 3.04 ERA overall this year that does increase to 3.80 when facing off versus right-handed batters. His batting average allowed .223, that does increase to .231. Again, it's a higher number. It's better for us, but .231 is still a relatively low batting average allowed. His home runs per 9, pretty nice increase there to 1.6, and his OBA 3.05. So again, it's good for us that all these numbers increase, but the problem is, even at these increased lines, the data is still a little on the lower side. You'd like his batting average allowed to be higher. You'd like his, pretty much across the board, you'd like all of his numbers to be a little bit more higher. But Otto Lopez is having success, .277 batting average versus right-handed pitchers. We don't have really any head-to-head data versus Jack Flaherty to go off of here for Otto Lopez. So it's really just looking at the recent data, the recent trends, mix that with the key matchup stats. For plus money, I think it's worth taking a shot here. I'm not saying to put a full unit on it, but I would say like at least half a unit. Again, for plus money, even 3/4 of a unit, 0.75 units. I'd sprinkle something on this. For plus money, it's really solid value. And guys, for the second prop of today's video and our second prop from this Dodgers-Marlins game. Now, this bet isn't exclusive to BetMGM, so a lot of you guys probably won't be able to take this. I did want to share it, though, because if you do have BetMGM, it is a really solid prop to go ahead and take. That's Tommy Edman of the Dodgers over half a strikeout. And the data is really stellar on this prop, guys. 7 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 0.7 strikeouts per game over his last 10 games. Even his last 20 games, 60% hit rate. 12 of his last 20 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 0.7 strikeouts per game again. So far in 2024, a 59% hit rate on the over. 16 out of 27 games this year, he's cashed. And now, a very small sample size. He's only played 27 games this year for the Dodgers. But in 16 of those 27 games, he's cashed the over, a 59% hit rate, averaging 0.74 strikeouts per game. Maybe most importantly, he has played the first 2 games of this Marlins series, so here's to hoping that he's going to play and be in the lineup for the Dodgers tonight. Again, there's a chance he may not even play, but if he does play, I do like the spot here in the head-to-head data. Each of the last 4 times he's faced off with the Miami Marlins, he has cashed the over, averaging a whopping 1.5 strikeouts per game versus the Marlins dating back to July of last season. Looking down below, the insights provided by Outlier, Tommy Edman has exceeded half a strikeout in 8 of his last 10 games on the road. It's an average of 1 strikeout per game over his last 10 road games. And the data is pretty solid here. You look at Tommy Edman, 279 batting average overall, but versus right-handed pitchers, a significant drop to 208 with an 18.4% strikeout rate, pretty high. Again, smaller sample size, 76 plate appearances, but that means that versus lefties, if he's batting 208 and 76 plate appearances versus righties, that means versus lefties, he's absolutely crushing it. But again, matchup versus a left-handed pitcher, right-handed pitchers here, so pretty good matchup there. And that 18.4% strikeout rate is pretty high. Looking for Edward Cabrera of the Marlins, an overall 26.1% strikeout rate, which is actually very, very high. You do see a decrease there to 22.1, but still, 22.1, kind of like the last prop with Jack Flaherty, right? Although the number, it's a change, and, you know, it's not something, it's still a really high number, right? It's in the red, it's 22.1, though, and so although it's not as good as his overall 26.1 mark, at the 22.1 mark, still a really high strikeout rate, especially when you match that with Edman's 18.4% strikeout rate as a batter. Like I said, I know a lot of these, at least this one won't be available. Most of the other ones will all be available on multiple sportsbook. This one is an exclusive to BetMGM. If you have BetMGM, not a bad prop to go ahead and ride with. All right, guys, our third pick from today's slate, we're looking at the Red Sox-Rays game, 6:50 p.m. first pitch. We're going Tristan Casas here, over half a base. We're getting that for minus 145 on Bet365, also available on DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars, and Underdog for varying odds. And again, guys, data is solid here. 7 of his last 10 games, Casas has cashed the over, an average of 1.2 total bases per game over his last 10 games. Over his last 20 games, a 55% hit rate. 11 of his last 20 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 0.9 bases per game. So pretty good numbers there. So far in 2024, a 62% hit rate on the over for Casas. 32 out of 52 games this year, he's cashed the over, averaging 1.48 total bases per game. So really good numbers there. You see, he actually was having a pretty good season overall, and then he kind of went cold there as we get into August and early September, but he has started to heat back up of late. And although the overall head-to-head data may not be fantastic, when you really take a look at it, you see it's pretty good. He's now cashed this over in 5 consecutive games going up against the Tampa Bay Rays dating back to last season. So overall in his last 13 matchups versus the Rays, he's just a 46% hit rate on the over. But again, in each of his last 5 meetings, including the first 2 games of this series thus far, he has cashed this over. And mind you, it's not over 1.5 total bases. It's over half a total base. All he has to do is hit a single, and this cashes. No doubles, no extra base hits, no multiple hits. A single, and he cashes it. Anything above a single, obviously, is also a cash. But all we're asking for is a single from Tristan Casas, and he's been able to cash that pretty consistently over the last 10, 15, 20 games or so. Look at the insights provided by Outlier. Tristan Casas has exceeded half a base in 4 of his last 5 games on the road, an average of 1.6 total bases per game average over his last 5 road games. So pretty good numbers there for Tristan Casas. Now, looking at the matchup, it's not fantastic, but again, when you take a deeper look, it's not too bad. Casas is batting .244 this year, not fantastic. You do see a slight increase in that number to .248 versus right-handed pitchers, but again, he's been hitting a lot better of late, so keep that in mind. This is the overall look, not the last 15, 20 games look for Casas. His BABIP, slight decrease to 333. His ISO increase, and his extra base hit percentage is essentially the same at 37.5%. Now, looking at Zach Little, obviously you see a lot of red there. You see a decrease in a lot of the numbers, but the color scheme here is a little misleading. So you do see a pretty good drop in his ERA here from 3.73 to 3.25 when facing off with left-handed batters. And you do see a drop from his overall batting average allowed from 271 to 263. But again, guys, that 263 number is still a fairly high number. Yes, it is a decrease from his overall 271, which we don't like to see, but that 263 batting average allowed is still a pretty high mark, and I still think a pretty decent matchup. His slugging percentage, it shows red. It's the same number. It's 437 versus 436. It's 0.001 difference there in that number. And we actually do see an increase in the extra base hit percentage from 32.7 to 37.8. So pretty good numbers overall there. Again, he's cashed in the first 2 games of this series versus Tampa Bay so far. Really high odds, juice number here, but of course it's juice for a reason. It's a really solid matchup. All right, guys, in our 4th and final prop for today's slate, we have a plus money play coming from the Nationals-Cubs game, 7:40 p.m. first pitch. We're going Joey Gallo here under half a hits, runs, RBI. Now, normally, I don't like betting lines like this under half because anything can happen. If he gets walked and a home run gets hit, Joey Gallo gets this cashed over. So I usually don't like betting this so low, but for plus 125 on BetMGM, plus 120 on DraftKings, and plus 109 on Underdog, there's pretty good value in this prop. For starters, he's cashed this in 9 of his last 10 games. The only time in the last 10 games he's cashed the over is on September 14th, a couple days ago, versus the Marlins. He had 1 hit, 1 run, and 1 RBI in that game. Averaging just 0.3 HRRs per game over the last 10 games. He's not just missing them, guys. He gets 0 on the stat sheet pretty consistently. Through the last 20 games, a little bit better for him. 12 of his last 20 he's cashed the under, 60%. Still pretty high hit rate there. Averaging 0.9 hits, runs, RBIs per game. But so far in 2024, you'll see a 57% hit rate on the under. 37 out of 65 games this year for Washington. He's cashed the under. He's averaging 1.06 hits, runs, RBIs per game. He's had a couple big games there throughout the year, but you see a lot of green, a lot of zeros there on his stat sheet for the season. Now, one of the reasons it's probably a plus money play, the head-to-head data is not very good in our favor. To say 20% hit rate on the under. He's actually cashed the over in 4 consecutive games versus the Cubs dating back to last season. Including both matchups so far this year, both being the end of August, he cashed the over. So that's one area that's concerning. Again, might paint the picture as to why this is a plus money play there for Joey Gallo. We scroll down below, the insights provided by Outlier. Joey Gallo has failed to exceed half hits, run, RBIs in 9 of his last 10 games. Again, we just kind of reiterated the same data point we just talked about. The key matchup stats down below, Joey Gallo versus Javier Assad of the Cubs. 3 plate appearances since 2018. He's got 1 hit and 1 RBI off of him in 3 plate appearances, but a 66.7% strikeout rate. So he struck out 2 of those 3 plate appearances versus Javier Assad. Joey Gallo is batting 152 this year, pretty abysmal number. There is a slight increase to 170 versus right-handed pitchers, so he's hitting a little bit better, but overall, 170 is still a really awful mark there. For Joey Gallo. It's kind of been the story of his career, though, right? He's not really been a great contact hitter. He's a power hitter. Very big boom or bust guy there. And look at Javier Assad, pretty much green across the board. All of his numbers decrease when facing off with left-handed batters. He goes from 3.27 ERA to a really impressive 2.84 ERA, 2.26 batting average allowed, 0.8 home runs per 9. That's a pretty important number there, especially when going up against Gallo, and 291 OBA. So Javier Assad's numbers across the board decrease, which is really good for us. And although you do see an increase in Gallo's number at the increased line, it's still not a good number. Again, the head-to-head data is the one data piece here where I'm really not impressed. And Javier Assad has not been great versus the Nationals this year. Look at the right side of the screen. 1-0 record, 4.5 ERA, strict strikeouts per 9. All of them are pretty much increases or decreases, whatever way. For Javier Assad. Increases the numbers that you don't want increases and decreases that you don't want decreases. But again, the individual matchup versus Joey Gallo is pretty solid. And again, he's cashed in 9 of his last 10 games, so I do like the spot here for Gallo. All right, guys, so those are all 4 picks in today's MLB slate. Quick little recap. Otto Lopez over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Tommy Edman over half a strikeout. Joey Gallo under half a hits, runs, RBIs. And Tristan Casas over half total base. This link for the description will be in the description down below. That will take you to this page. Very easy to go ahead and tail. Shout out to Outlier for making it so easy to follow along with our picks. So this will be in the description down below. You go ahead and click the link. It'll take you right here. And it's very simple. You can go ahead and add to any sportsbook you want right down below. So that does it for me today, guys. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. All right, little announcement here. I'm hoping to be here tomorrow. I know the last week or so, honestly, most of the year, I know I haven't been super consistent with baseball. I'm sorry. Life gets in the way sometimes, and life has been very hectic for me of late. I have a doctor's appointment, a pretty important doctor's appointment tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I have kidney stones. So, it's just kind of one thing after another right now. I'm hoping to get this video out tomorrow. I'm not going to promise anything. If we do get it out, obviously we have a Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay. I'm going to try to wake up super early in the morning, get the video done to you guys. But if the video is not out tomorrow, please understand it's not out of laziness. It's not out of not wanting to do it. It's because I've got a lot going on, a lot on my plate. So yeah, going to do my best to get the video out tomorrow. But just to give you guys a heads up, if the video doesn't drop, it's because I'm battling fucking kidney stones. It's been one thing after another, guys. So I appreciate your patience, though. You guys are the best. We really do have the best community here. I did pre-record all my football videos for the week, so all my football content will come out as planned. Nothing will change with that stuff. It's more just based. It's, football is easy because you can go ahead and kind of record beforehand. I can record pretty much 4 videos in one shot and kind of get them all done at once. Versus baseball, it's obviously a daily thing. It's in the morning, and so yeah. So just my rambling being done. Just want to let you guys know. I don't want you guys to think I don't care or I'm lazy or whatever. When I don't post videos, they're for a specific reason. But again, hoping to get the video out to you guys tomorrow if I can get the time to do it. But until next time, guys, I hope you're all winners. Have a fantastic Thursday.